A few days later, we back. We done run ball. It's hot. We start talking about going to the store to get something to drink. He run in the house, come back with something cold to drink. Everybody had the revelation at the same moment. Like, nigga, you just told us you had no money for a refrigerator. How the hell you get a refrigerator? He put that smile on his face, right? When was a time when you felt as though you were proud of the fact that something you had put a lot of effort into paid off? Okay. One of the initial things that comes to mind for me when I was thinking about this, I used to coach track. And there was a time when I was coaching 15 to 18-year-olds. I had a 4x800 team. And at the time, one of the members of the team, he was the number 3 800 runner in the country. And of those 4, all but one of them had been able to run 800 under 2 minutes. All season long, this one kid had not been able to. And spent a lot of time throughout the course of that year encouraging him. His moment's going to come. We went to, they qualified to run an East Coast Invitational, which is a big meet, a big travel meet in the summertime. And they were running, it's a one race final. And the kid that ran leadoff, who was normally very reliable, tanked on the first leg. Like, he ran the worst race he had run all year long. So they were like almost dead last when he passed baton off to second place person. Second leg kind of, he ran like he normally would, kind of got them in a good spot. Third leg was this kid that had not run under 2 minutes all year long. He got the baton and ran like the race of his life. Ran the race of his life. He brought them. They were in 6th when he got the baton. And at that point, like I had my kid at anchor, the one that number 3 in the country. And my whole thing was just give him a shot, just get him close, because I know if they got close, he could pull it. He could pull it off. And he got the baton. Shout out to Nate. He got the baton and he ran the race of his life. First time all year long, he ran under 2 minutes. And when he handed the baton off, they were in 3rd place. And our anchor, Trinity Gray. When I tell you, this boy destroyed the field at that point. Like, he came back. He caught up to, by the time they finished the first lap, he was like right behind the first place person. And like went and then pulled away on that last lap. And I was losing my mind. I think I ran the whole last, I was a lot.
You ran?
Yes, I ran. I think I ran the whole last 100 yards, 100 meters with him down the field. I lost my mind. But I don't even want to know what he said. I don't even want to know. But that was a moment when I felt like all the work I had put into something paid off.
And that child was Usain Bolt.
It was not Usain Bolt. I would not be sitting here if I had any hand in training him.
I don't know. When something paid off. No. I was going to say when I graduated my bachelor's and became a parole agent for the state, probably was when it was. My bachelor's was a very weird point in my life. I got accepted to college the same day as my grandfather died. So when I went to college, I really didn't have any purpose. It was like just to get it done at that point. And my father's friend came over, kind of talked to me about parole, and I didn't know nothing about it. And was like, just do this X, Y, and Z, you can get in. So I finished college in 3 years instead of 4. And I got into parole. Like, I got into the welfare office. I worked for the welfare offices in Norristown and then got into parole. So I probably say that's probably one of the times that, like, it worked out. But If it didn't have that conversation, I don't know where it would have went. Where it would have went at that point, because I was like just lost in the sauce at that point. I really didn't want to go to college at that point.
I guess the moment that comes to my mind was in 2005, the year after my pop passed. I was at that point kind of getting into, I was dipping back into going to church. So I was going to church. I was just finishing up with the theater ministry. No, I was a couple of years removed from the theater ministry that I had been with. But a guy there was the one that had talked to me about the idea of getting into writing. And I was already a bit of a writer. He had said like writing, like his idea was writing a book. And I had written scripts for the theater ministry and I had written comic strips and everything. And I was like, a book, I don't know. But then after my dad passed and I moved back home with my mom for a minute, because I was raising Olivia up in the county. I said, well, let me take a shot at this. And that's when I wrote my children's book. And that was a little bit of a hard push because I wanted to be a Christian book, even though I was still trying to dabble, like, am I a Christian or not? But I did it. I powered through it. I did it. I, self-published it. Got it out there. I did like a small little book tour for it. Got good reviews for it. And it was very validating for me. One that, that I said I was going to do it. I did it and I got it out there. It was received. I opened myself up to really being criticized on a larger scale than just here in Philly. It was the beginning, because I had always been a creative, but it was the beginning of finding my way of like, all right, what's going to be the creative part of me that's going to turn into money making. And that, in a way, indirectly got me into radio and everything else. So that's the thing I think of.
I have nothing. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
We all know this.
Well, I can say being able to take care of my kid, like without assistance.
Okay.
That's a very
qualified.
Assistant. You mean like a public assistant?
No. Well, yes, but no, like
too.
yeah, that too. But like so there are no grants. Everybody's passed.
Okay.
So all of the help that you would normally get,
You don't have.
and we had him during COVID.
Right.
So we ain't dropping you off to nobody because now we don't trust nobody.
Right.
So my kid's still here. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah. Very much so.
Especially doing that. Like, and having to just,
It's definitely hard to do it without a village.
is what I'm saying.
It's definitely hard to do it without
That's a little difficult. But especially in the beginning.
We have a small village. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of, though.
That definitely qualifies.
Oh, all right, cool.
That definitely qualifies. Especially considering all the context you just gave before about the work you put in.
There you go. A lot of people he killed.
Allegedly. To have a peaceful life.
Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do, Derek. I think that was convenient for him.
Exactly. It's convenient.
Parked in my parking spot, all the things that you should be doing.
Thanks for the sandwiches.
Seriously.
MF and Garden.
Yeah, I guess if I had to,
Finally getting that boy, shooting up the club, right?
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that was an accomplishment. I had 2 kids, but he was the intentional one. The other 2 were surprises. They were beautifully surprises.
Every time.
No, man.
You set him up for that.
Love
I
surprises.
know, that's my fault.
I guess maybe start my own video production company business kind of a thing. Cause like when you start, it's like I got a camera, but like what makes me legit to like take people money to shoot them and do things. So you just kind of like got to build up your confidence, your repertoire, your resume, do a lot of free shit and stuff like that. But yeah, you just kind of refine your craft, you hone it, upgrade cameras and stuff, and just keep at it. So it was never like a goal to be a thing, but once you've done that, and it's like you have that entrepreneurial, I guess, know-how, you can kind of do it again in more ways. So that's definitely a beneficial kind of thing. Like one thing, if I could pass on to my kids, is like when you need money, don't get another job, like start you a business or start another business, like anything else on the side. Like nothing where you're going to somebody for a check, but where we can provide checks to people, anything like that. So just like to be able to have another grind, is something I think pays off. So we're going to pass that on to my kids.
What's your other question?
Was my other question? All right. So my other question was, what fear or fears do you carry that you don't talk about a lot?
We're talking about the shit now.
Yeah. And it came to mind because in thinking about this dynamic in particular, is that a lot of times, especially we as men, it is a lot of times hard for us to admit, one, that we are afraid of anything. That there are things that kind of keep us up at night that we do worry about. And two, having the space to talk about it.
Well, it doesn't keep me up, but just like you after having a baby, it's like, damn, I hope I'm here long enough for this nigga to learn enough to be
To be able to
straight.
make it.
Yeah, but it doesn't keep me up.
Right. And like I said,
But
keep me up at night is
it is
kind of metaphorical, but
yeah, but
like,
that is something that I've thought about as a fear. Like, okay, I just want to be here long enough to make sure he's straight and not leave early enough that it becomes a scar that he can't get past for too long. Like, you didn't get my dad wasn't here for this, or my dad wasn't here for that, or
I never had a drink with my dad or something.
right.
But you don't drink anyway, so I don't know.
You all right? I don't know if that was a trigger.
It's not a trigger.
Okay. Yeah, but that has been the thing, like, because like you said, we all older. Just like, I just hope I'm here long enough to make sure he's straight, or that I'm able to say enough to him for him to understand what to do.
how does that manifest itself?
I don't know, because I'm not moving any different.
Okay.
Because I'm already actively still talking to him,
Right.
common sense stuff, across the street. Like, he's 5. It's only somewhere I can tell a nigga. But, I'm already doing the things that I would have done anyway.
Right.
What,
But in that regard, so especially since we share that, how does that fear kind of manifest itself for you? Like, because again, in thinking about hoping you're not going to be gone before those things happen, when you think about how do you handle that worry?
I just move on. Like, because again, I'm still it is what it is type of guy. So it's like, okay, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I can only do what I'm able to do while I'm here. So I'm not going to stress about what could be. I think about it, but I can't stress about it because I'm stressing about something that hasn't happened.
Right.
I'm not going to do that to myself. That doesn't make sense to me. So I will deal with him how I can deal with him. I will say what I can say. I will teach him what I can teach him based on his level of understanding now. Outside of that, in my head, because my wife seems to know me so well, most of the things I would say, I would feel that she would be able to now say also.
Okay.
Because she caught most of it.
You're a stranger
in the beginning. So there's a lot of times she's going to do something and she'll say to me, like, I didn't even tell you because I already knew what you was going to say. And I said, well, I'm going to say it. And she'll be spot on. And it's like, oh shit, okay, cool.
Did she call him a stranger the first 2 years of his life?
No, she loved him. Not saying she don't love him anymore, but the beginning, she likes babies. She's not a fan of toddlers because they do a lot of talking, a lot of touching, a lot of over what you call it? Sensory overload or overstimulated. I've never even heard these words. This is all shit. This is all new to me. So this stuff, like, just like we could be talking and he'll be like in the background. She'd be like, please. And I'm like, oh, this is one of them. Because I'm ignoring him. Like, I'm tuning
Right, I'm fine. Like,
he's just playing and he's not crying. We're cool. Like, I'm tuning him out completely. But that's, she, so she's not fond of the toddler. She loved the baby stuff. That's the holding them and the fall asleep on the chest. I'm like, I need the ones that can say, I'm hungry. I go to the bathroom. Them I could deal with. But that's pretty much it. It's more so making sure I get enough in him. Like, she is doing her best to make him a good person because he's so sweet. I'm trying to balance because he's too sweet. And I'm like, hey, don't let them just walk past you. Like, move them too. Like, don't let the kids just bump you. Like, he's like, So I'm just trying to balance it a little bit. But that's really it. Because outside of that, I'm just enjoying, again, what I've created for myself.
Okay.
So I'm not really thinking or overthinking about things. Like, even in terms of like, was it yesterday? We were supposed to go grocery shopping. So I was leaving work. Usually I leave work and I pick him up from school. She's already home. So I was leaving work, picking her up first, then picking him up, and then we was gonna go grocery shopping. Well, I have more than one car, so I switched cars because this one hadn't been drove in a while since the snow and everything. Soon as we picked him up, I drove it to work, drove it home, drove it to school. Soon as we start leaving to pick up, it's like hesitating. And I'm like, I think we can make it. Because I do not want to, at this point, if I go home, I'm not switching cars.
Right.
But I'm like,
Was it out of gas or was it messing up?
I think the air intake hose might have a hole in it. So I'm like, all right, we got maybe 10 minutes out. I'm like, damn, we ain't gonna make it. Go back home. She's like, well, we don't have to go. I'm like, no, we have to go. Because that planning, that pushes everything back to other days, or you're gonna order half of it online. I'm gonna have to make a run here. We got to get this shit over with. Switch cars and then go. To be able to switch cars, this is the half full, is a blessing.
And
Now, mind you, she's in the car like, listen, obviously it ain't meant to be. We should just go home. I'm like, meant to be why? Because then when we switched cars, like I heard a rock in the tire, so I pulled over. She was like, see, we ain't supposed to go. I said, it's a rock. That's happened before. I'm like, how about the fact that we just was able
Switch cars.
to switch cars?
Right.
Okay, we could have been in the house.
Right.
Exactly.
But to have the ability to switch cars and just go is a blessing in itself.
Right.
Glass half full. I could have been like, this is some bullshit.
Right.
In my head, I'm like, shit, there's something else I got to deal with. But it is what it is. Like, it's okay, something's wrong with it. I got to figure it out. But in the meantime, we can still go to the market.
Right.
That is what I have worked for, to get to a point where certain things don't throw my entire day off. It's just like a little bump in the road. And it is what it is.
right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Anybody else want to go next?
There's a question again.
Fears.
Failure.
How so?
Like failing my family. So it's like we're all providers, but then your paycheck only goes so far. And then your kid want like dance lessons on top of that, or maybe they want a scooter, or maybe they want a dog, or maybe they want, anything that a kid can want on top of what they already need. And, maybe sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. But, you might feel bad or feel like a failure, like daddy can't do that for you. Or, give daddy, give me some time and then I can make it happen for you. So, sometimes you just feel bad about what you can or can't do immediately for the kids. It's not like nothing they need. Like they all got food and clothes, that kind of shit. But then they want the extra stuff. And you want to give them everything, even though you don't want to spoil them. But, you do want to give them everything they want. They're good kids.
Right.
They do good in school, straight A's and all that kind of thing. Grades are way better than what I used to get in school.
Is the problem.
So I
ain't
want
a good kid.
Yeah, and you want to do shit for them.
You can't even punish them for messing up. Like, you can't even, you
don't do shit
you
else.
can't offset it by like, I ain't got it, but you've been fucking up so bad. You don't deserve it anyway.
Right.
Like, they're good kids. It's like, damn, I got to figure it out. Like,
I gotta get you something.
Right.
So yeah, this problem. Got good fucking kids, goddamn it.
So, my fear was more or less, it was a twofold. One, I was fearful of dying early because of my weight. But then when Desiree and I had William, our first child, then it was, now I can't get off the couch to go play with him. So then I was fearful of not being able to do that. Or I do charity, so it's not being able to protect my family. Then it kind of just stemmed from that. And then it went into like my job and da-da-da-da. But my fear was always not be able to protect them. You know, like today, we went to where we went to today. You picked us up today.
Right.
If I was the person I was before, we probably wouldn't even gotten there.
Wouldn't gotten
there. They wouldn't be able to experience the train and enjoyed it. And my whole thought process, even though they were having a wonderful time, that kind of post where you see the girl like swinging on the hand at the time, and the dude is like checking exits. That was me. And I was telling them, no, we can't do this. You can't do that. Don't touch nothing. Da, 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 da. But, view everything. But
you were able to give them that experience.
Give them the experience.
Right.
And I always felt like, I think the fear that I always had was that they used to tell me after I got my promotion, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I don't never want to be seeing anything different. So I think that was the fear. And now that I am becoming more able to be more active, makes me better. But that was always my fear, not to be like the person I'm supposed to be for them. Okay? And how they're supposed to see me. That you're supposed to be Superman. If you don't, to them. And if you don't do your best to live up to it, it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
That kind of thing.
Lynn?
I think, my fear is, I have a fear of heights, a severe fear of heights.
Okay.
But I don't.
Do you have an apartment on the 3rd floor?
He always had apartments.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always available.
Yeah, that's saying.
You ain't gotta look out.
I mean, even on the 3rd floor, you're still on the ground.
You ain't gotta look outside.
You're on the structure. You're not like flying over the building.
On a roof.
I like, for the most part, when I have to deal with,
is Batman afraid? All right. Sorry.
when I have to get on a plane, I get on the plane. I don't get a window seat. I sit in the aisle. I'm good. So when I have to deal with it, I deal with it. But there are times when it creeps up on me. Like one of the weirder moments when it creeps up on me, not all the time, but there's sometimes when I used to play basketball on a regular basis. And especially with you, Calvin, you and your 50-story high jump shot. When
all life. Like, what do you want?
But sometimes when I would have to track a ball into the air, and then I get caught looking up.
You just get jumping? Is that what you just said?
No, it's not. It's not jumping.
Let me hear this one.
It's not jumping. But tracking the ball, like looking at it up in the air, and if I get to the point where I'm literally like looking straight up into the air, sometimes, not all the time or anything like that, but sometimes I would just get like a little like, oh wow,
Kind of like a vertigo thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that would happen sometimes. Or if I'm on a real steep like incline or something, sometimes I get a little vertigo. So that has happened sometimes. So that's like probably my real biggest fear. As far as like an existential fear, like the way that y'all talking about, like, fear of, failure and things of that nature. I don't know if I had them to the extent that I will call them fears. You're always nervous, it's like, you want to win or anything like that. So I don't know if I've had them. The closest I can think of to those is that I feel like everybody to some extent, have a trepidation. Maybe you just don't want to call it a fear of death in general. And my big thing of death, is like, I would sometimes, when I would think about dying and I think about like, shit, I'm not going to be here, I would get like panicked like a motherfucker when I was little. And what I would do, especially if it happened in the middle of the night or something like that, I would jump out of my bed and I would run to my mom's room. And the act,
Mom, I'm gonna die.
no, but actually the act of running to my mom's room in the middle of the night, running to her front door, her bedroom door, and knowing, oh, I'm gonna wake up my mom and dad.
Snapped you out of it.
So now I ain't able to kill you.
That you were afraid of, right? That snapped me out of it in a heartbeat, dog. But conversely, when
That actually brings up another question I have.
when my parents died, when my mom died in 2018, there was a moment, and like I didn't. When my mom died and when my father died, I didn't cry. Because I call myself being there for my siblings and everybody else, and just getting through it. I didn't cry. I felt it, but I didn't cry. And matter of fact, I didn't cry until when we buried my mom. And even when we buried my mom, like they were over there at the burial, I walked over because she's buried in the same graveyard as my brother-in-law, Jamal's father. And no, that's right. It was when Gary died. It was because Gary died that following year. When they were burying Gary, I walked over to where my mother was buried, and I sat there, and that's the first time that I cried over my parents dying. And I was like, and everybody was coming over to me because we were there for Gary, and I was definitely sad as hell for Gary, but I was just like, shit, my parents are gone. And that night, I was dreaming, and I was dreaming about my mother and father. I was talking to them, and when I left, I distinctly remember when I left talking to them, I closed their bedroom door behind me. So it's like, oh, I'm dealing, like kind of like dealing with it. You know what I mean? And while I sometimes still, think about it, especially as you get older, it doesn't bother me as much anymore. And I always equate it back to that moment. So that's my big existential deal that I've kind of like dealt with.
I guess it's my turn. I guess as far as it's like a physical fear, I am mildly claustrophobic. It doesn't manifest itself a lot. Generally, there's different circumstances that happen. Matter of fact, it happened to me a couple weeks ago.
When you had on those tight clothes.
I was at a school.
Daylight.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. I was at a school, and they had to evacuate the building. And we're leaving out. We're going out down the corridor where we had to exit. Like I was at a high school, and all the kids in the school was in this one hallway, and the doors where we were supposed to go out were locked. So we're like, people are still coming in this hallway, and can't get out. And I'm like, okay. I started to feel like a tightness in my chest. And I'm like, okay. Like, because that fear generally manifests itself in just the fear of being crushed. So as the hallway started to fill up, so
It's a phobia.
it's a phobia.
So it's an irrational fear.
It's a phobia. So like,
We know there are a lot of other bodies in the hallway that will get crushed before it can. Yes, we are aware.
well, okay, but like I started feeling that tightness in my chest, and I started like, it's kind of like, just
Like, back up, kids.
like back up, kids, back up. I didn't get that far. We're just kind of like, just kind of putting, your
You little son of bitches.
You're too close. Get away. Thankfully, that's not gonna get picked up, right? But this, you always talk about showing my hands. I'm just talking
like training boy.
So I kind of just like, just started keeping that space around me. Like,
Just mugging them all in the face. Just mush them all.
Thankfully, the hallway we were in, there was one like little hallway that led off to it. So I kind of like just backed into that space.
The other corridor.
But it was like nobody in that hallway. Everybody was in this main hallway. Like this
So you
hallway.
could breathe.
Yeah. So I kind of like this.
Shit.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. That's exactly how I felt. So yeah, so there's that one. But again, existentially, is again like you were talking about, just that whole idea of the fear of not being here for those important moments in Caden's life, because I'm, having a child at later stages of life, that fear manifests itself. For me, a lot of times, how it primarily manifests itself is me trying to make sure that I help her. I kind of get those kind of important lessons out. The biggest one right now is that I recognize very early on that Caden is my emotional twin. So I know how I struggled with my emotions as a child.
Mm.
And I started to see some of that stuff with her. So a lot of times I try to focus on helping her manage that now. It's funny, a couple weeks ago, we wound up having a conversation about it. I can't remember what it was she was upset about, but I could tell she was upset about something. And I asked her what was wrong. It's like, nothing's wrong. There's nothing wrong. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you this moment, but I know there's something wrong. And she kind of looked at me and I said, like, I had the conversation with her, like, listen, you and I process things similarly. So there are tells that you have emotionally that I know what they are and I know what they mean. So I know that there's something bothering you. And we need to talk about it. And I explained to her that, when I was your age, I had problems processing my emotions. I told her, I'd share with her that when I was younger, a lot of times if I would get angry, if I would get frustrated, I would cry. Because that was the only way I could kind of like process those emotions. And she processes similarly.
Mm.
And, I said to her, I said, I need you to be able to, I want you to be able to learn how to handle it now so that you aren't like in the later stages of life trying to figure that out. So having those types of like real conversations with her is kind of how I kind of deal with it. Much like you, I try not to focus on some of those things that I know are going to happen later in her life that I could possibly not be here for.
Right.
Because like I try not to think about the fact that, depending on what it is, she decides to get married, I might not be here for that.
Yeah, 'cause you don't want her to forget being a kid.
Right,
'Cause you
right.
bring up all
Because I'm bringing up all that stuff.
shit.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I try not to focus on those type of things, but like, kind of like those things that I know that if she can have those lessons now, it'll help her later.
Right.
It's kind of how I deal with that.
Mm.
All right. Jamal, you had a question.
I do. Okay, I do. Yeah. I bring you out.
So this nigga forget. Wait, how do you handle escalators? You good on those?
Escalators?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
It don't affect the height thing?
Mm-mm.
Or you just don't?
Well, escalators don't affect it, except, surprisingly, where is it? Like in DC, because DC they're especially long and steep. So I'm fine with it, but I will sometimes find myself
You're cognizant of the height.
yeah, and I'll just like focus on like one point,
Okay.
or something like that. You know what I mean?
All right, go ahead with your question.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
No. So in the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13:11, it reads, and I'm paraphrasing, as a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. And for you individually, When was that moment when you realized it's time to be an adult?
And put away childish things.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm there yet.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen all the comic books that I have.
Yeah, but that's not a childish thing.
Right.
That is sure is that?
No.
Well, a lot of people that would call comic books a childish
Yeah,
thing.
there are people that would say there was a whole lot of
video game.
Right,
But
but
There's a lot of other things.
Come on, only if he lived with his mom and didn't pay any bill,
Right.
and that's all he did at 73. Like if that's all he was doing.
Because I don't think there's anything
I'll be
wrong
84 by the next episode. Of
Yeah, exactly.
Because
But I don't think there's anything wrong with holding on to some of those things that keep you youthful, so to speak. That we talk about hobbies and stuff all the time. Those things that keep that joy in your life.
It also depends on who's looking at it.
It right all depends on who's looking at it.
It could be a toy to one person,
Right,
and a hobby to another.
because I was
Also true.
I went to a
or
whole
if the toy killed
convention last weekend where it was a whole bunch of us running around dressed up like cartoon characters, which some people would think would be childish, but it is what it is. I think, not to speak for you, but I think Charles was thinking more so along the lines of that moment when it's like, okay, like I got to start adulting.
yes, adulting.
I got to start adulting. If that's what you mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a moment because I've kind of always been responsible. Like even younger, like I've always kind of been responsible. So I don't know if I have a moment when I'm like, now you have to. I don't know if I've had that. Like it's been like, okay, situational. Like, okay, now you got a kid, you have to budget this way now.
Right.
Like I've always saved money and kind of been responsible with things, but I don't think I had that moment where it's like, all right, you gotta stop being a kid and grow up. Like I think I've been pretty responsible a lot of my life that I can remember.
Okay.
And even once I got older and I started taking care of my mom, like that ain't something I planned for
Right.
in my 20s. Like you rent in the house, you move your mom in because she ain't doing well. That's not something you plan for. Like
Right.
it just kind of was me.
Right.
So I don't know if I had a moment.
But there certainly is a blessing that you were in a position to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you've said on here that, like right out of high school, you was working. You didn't do like a lot of your friends or the people around you were doing as far as going out and things of that nature. What made you
To have
take
money
that
in my
course?
pocket.
So that was strictly about just having
To have money in my pocket so I can do things, so I can have money to go out, to eat, to hang out with different people, whatever I want to do. It wasn't really a like, I have to be an adult now. It was more like, yeah, okay, y'all staying after school to play ball, and that's cool. But I know when we go out, before we come in the morning, some of y'all ain't got no money up, y'all can't get snacks. Like I know on the weekends when we hanging out, y'all ain't got no money. Like I'm going to work because I don't want to. No, that's not fun for me. Like I need to be able to buy a pair of sneakers if I want a pair of sneakers and not wait to see if my mom's gonna buy them. Like I want to go buy them myself. Like be able to shop and do shit, regular shit. So
because you
that was just
had
me.
that sense of independence.
It was just how I'm wired. Essentially, it wasn't like a plan. It wasn't something that I had to like read up on. Like I've just been kind of responsible most of my life that I can remember. Even when we out riding bikes and having fun, I'm not out there doing nothing crazy. Like it was back when, they didn't know where your parents didn't know where you was. You was just out there. I lived in South Philly. I'm riding my bike, City Line Avenue, the Art Museum. Like I'm all over the place. We ain't thinking about getting flats, nothing. We just going. So I've kind of just been responsible. Like it's been like, you got the families that it's that one kid that everybody's like worried about. Like we don't know what the fuck. And then it's like, he'll be fine. I was like, I never had nobody say he ain't gonna be shit. Or even school, like he ain't gonna be anything. Like it was more so, he ain't as smart. Like how is he? Like it was more like that. So it's never been I have to get it together. Like I'm wired that way.
Okay.
I mean, unfortunately, but yeah. So I don't think I had that moment where it's like, dude, you got to get it together. Like get your shit together so you can grow up and get yourself a place. Like
No, he had a place when he was 7.
Listen, as fast as I get out, I think I was still seasonal where I was working when I got my first apartment. I was doing that shit on a seasonal pay. Like I would.
Well, rent wasn't as high as it is now.
I mean, I had a girl at the time, but still,
Yeah, I know.
just So yeah, I don't think I had that moment.
Probably when I became a parent. Yeah, probably that's when it was like, because when you're an adult and you just worried about yourself, like it's like whatever you know, it's real loose with it. It's like cool, but then when you got a kid, you gotta like think ahead to make sure, like, all right, do I got like this in the house? Do I got milk? Do I got diapers? Do I got children's Tylenol? Do I got Pepto? Do I got the chewable joints because she don't like the taste of the liquid?
Right.
So you just got to like start think. It's like being responsible for like another life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, like a dog or a cat for, a person.
Right.
So it's just like that whole next level. So I just felt like once you get over it, like, yo, like they really let us leave the hospital with a child.
Right.
Like we ain't had to sign nothing. We ain't had to take no test. Like they just gave us a baby because it's ours and we can do whatever we want with it. Like that's fucking crazy.
Right.
But, of course, like, we're going to do right by her. But I think that's like the first time where you start to feel like, all right, I need to A, B, C, X, Y, Z. I got to do the paperwork to make sure I get rid of the insurance, make sure the dental, da-da-da-da-da. Like, that's when you had to do things. Like, you don't have to take the insurance for yourself when you're an adult. Like, I don't get sick. Fuck it. I need glasses, dental. That's about it. I don't need car insurance. I'm not getting pulled over. Fingers crossed. When you're 20 and you're young, like you might do shit like that.
Right.
I think like for me, having a kid is what make me, act like an adult and want to be more responsible. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Having the first kid. Before that, it could have been whatever. It was whatever.
Yeah.
Probably a lot more risky.
It was definitely for me when my son was born, because it was that, like you said, it was at that moment where it was like, well, shit, this ain't about me anymore.
Exactly.
Because before then it was one of those things where, you
just live for yourself.
You live for yourself, and
Like
like
your girl.
you're not too worried about messing, because you mess up some shit, it's just you. It's just you. But that moment you realize, like, yo, it's actually another person out here,
Like depending on me.
right? Like he can't do anything for himself. Like if I mess up,
Right. He ain't eating tonight.
right, he ain't eating tonight. So I think it was definitely when my son was born, I was like, well, shit.
Yeah. That's
It's like a whole, like, he's like,
For real.
like that realization, like they actually let me leave with this little person.
And so that's an example of what I mean. Like y'all first were not planned, right?
No.
Mine was.
Okay, that's, yeah.
Like that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like
It was on the calendar.
It was no. I was trying to make another brother. I promise. I got to a point financially where I felt like I can take care of another person now. Like I think we're good.
I've never felt that. I'm there like now.
But
I've never been there the last 17 years.
That's
Like,
what
okay, I'm good.
In terms of making a decision, like, okay, I'm an adult now. It was like, okay, I can afford it now.
Right.
Because I mean, I've been with people who wanted to have kids with me, and I was like, well, who gonna pay for them? Because we ain't got it. So if it was up to just having it, I'd have been had a kid if I was doing it for who I was with.
Right.
But no, I was like, we can't afford no fucking kid. Once I got to a point where, and again, my wife doesn't work right now. So once I got to a point where by myself, if it's just me, we can maintain a kid too. I was like, okay, we can start now.
Okay.
And I legitimately, all jokes aside, was trying to get another Virgo. This nigga's birthday is the last day of the month. So like just I'm so mad.
So it's like September 30th.
Yes. So mad. I was shooting for another Virgo. I mean, it would have messed with my birthday, because then, gifts might get split.
Share it.
But for whatever reason, that's
just what you want.
That's just what I wanted. And that did not happen. But I was legitimately like,
Well, it's only a week out.
like, time to go. Like, let's get it. But that's what I mean by like I'm wired that way. Like I've been, if I'm sleeping with somebody, I don't have any condoms, I'm going to the Chinese store. Because I can't sit here and get caught in a moment, because I know how many years that's going to cost me, especially if I don't really like you. Like, so this moment is going to be 18 years of you? No. if this moment in here when I get back, it wasn't meant to be. But I'm going to the store because I need a condom. Like, that's how I'm wired.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by, like, y'all had a kid and was like, okay, I got to tighten this shit up. And I'm like, well, I'm tightening up. Now I can have a kid.
Mm.
That's
fair.
That's the difference.
I feel you. That's fair.
Kudos.
I mean, listen,
Right, good for you.
that wasn't me. Listen, I couldn't do it. I was more worried about the repercussions of this.
Mm.
Again, especially if it's with somebody that, I mean, you like them, but you know that they might not be right. And you have to deal with them now for 18 years, no matter whether you like them or not. That's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't want to give up my time like that. Especially, and then you got to think, if that don't work between y'all now, whoever you with got to also somehow deal with her or be affected by this.
Right.
Nope.
That's fair.
I'm good.
Mine wasn't actually becoming a parent. It actually was earlier when I got my first apartment. And realizing that my apartment, it's like, I got my first apartment.
There's nothing in here.
It don't got a refrigerator.
It didn't have a fridge.
It didn't have a refrigerator.
And you, of course, you didn't think that.
You didn't even know it.
Well, I noticed it, but
You thought it would be there by the time you moved in. Be there by the time I moved in.
you know what I mean? But then there's like, no, it don't have a refrigerator. It's like,
Is this the refrigerator?
yeah.
Y'all carry this down the street too?
No.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Oh God. All right.
Here you go. Let's get to the story. Story time.
Story?
Go ahead. You tell the story.
All right. So then moved into first of all, he moved into the Carter.
I don't
Start
know.
there.
Okay.
You've seen New Jack.
New Jack City.
Oh.
That's the Carter. Okay. The drug house joint. If you want even Nino. Okay. It's a first floor.
Was he Pookie to the Carter? No, he wasn't. He wasn't Pookie.
Okay.
He moved into the Carter. So
Am I my brother's keeper?
this is when there was a bunch of us that was hanging out, and this was like summertime. We used to run ball, all that type of stuff. When he first moved in, we all went over here. We hung out. You know, it was hot. We had to go to the store because he ain't had a refrigerator. We need something to drink. A few days later, we back. We done run ball. It's hot. We start talking about going to the store to get something to drink. He's like, no, I got y'all. Hold up. He run in the house, come back with something that's cold to drink. For everybody, everybody had the revelation at the same moment. Like, where the hell you get cold drinks from? He's like, I got a refrigerator. Nigga, you just told us you ain't had no money for a refrigerator. How the hell you get a refrigerator? He put that smile on his face, right? We like, nigga, how you get a refrigerator? He's like, well, me and my neighbor was talking, and I was talking about the fact that I had a refrigerator. And she said, well, I can give you money for a refrigerator if you help me out.
This is when the old lady thing.
No, this wasn't no old lady. It wasn't no old lady. It wasn't no old lady.
It was solid.
You're right. Oh,
He did what he had to do. You see, he had to collect drinks, right?
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. It was like, nigga, you gave it up for a refrigerator. He said, I did what I had to do. Y'all niggas happy you got something to drink.
Y'all sipping in a bar by yourself in my ass. This will enjoy the drink.
I did what I had to do.
I called this nigga loose.
This shit up.
This whole time, this nigga's loose. Well,
Ask for.
damn, nigga.
You think you know somebody?
You are a bad person.